This is the third reel I'm going to do, and I've already taken it apart. I've cleaned everything, and I've lubed most of the parts. We'll got a couple things we still need to lube, but found some interesting things in these. I have 4 of these reels, and they were all new when I bought them. Not sure, if they came straight from the factory or somebody had them and they worked on them a little bit, but one of the reels was full of grease. I mean, it looks like maybe they adjusted the grease gun at the factory or something. I don't know. And I had problems with one reel clicking when I would cast. Almost like the clicker was on just a little bit, but I looked and I couldn't find anything wrong. Everything, all these parts for the clickers and everything was working fine. Like I said, I didn't see anything. They have little pistons right here with a little spring inside here that's captured on both sides, and the clicker they're really strong clickers, are hard to push, but none of them was stuck on, and they all had good travel, so I don't think that was the problem. And also one reel was missing one washer. It was underneath the clicker for the star drag. This one right here. It still worked without it, but I'm going to go ahead and figure out which one of the reels was that didn't have it. I'm going to go ahead and make a little washer and put underneath there just for spacing. But we're going to go ahead and stick this one back together. I think that's what people want to see anyway, so we'll talk about them a little bit here. This the level wind doesn't have a bearing in it on the end like the Abu's, and it's got a little teardrop plastic alignment here on the one end. And let's see here, this is going to be, I'm going to slide that in there and put this on there, and that's going to fit down in a little slot that's teardropped, so that's going to go in there like that. Almost need 3 hands to do this. This side over here has another one of the teardrops. It takes the place of the bearing, but it's just a bushing. That's going to sit in there like that. Then you have a washer and an E-clip. Now I recommend you buy some extra E-clips if you work on a lot of reels, because they do get lost. They're also hard to put in sometimes. You got fat fingers. Let's see if we can do this. There we go. Okay. Now there's a shaft that fits in. I don't remember which way it goes. But this shaft's not held in at the other end, so it just falls out. So the plate actually holds it. I'm going to stick it in there temporarily because it's going to keep falling out. We'll go ahead and put the pawl in. Now I've already put a dab of grease on these things, and I cleaned it real good. I'll also put some of that synthetic grease on there, or oil, when I'm all done. See, it keeps falling out. So we're not going to really worry about it. We'll go ahead and just sit it there for now. The end plate, I went ahead and put the level wind gear and stuff in there. It's like the Abu and the Pissy Fun. It has the E-clip on it. You can take it off and grease it, oil it. I've got some grease on this one because it's not a casting rod. It's just basically a dragon rod or down rod. So really, that's all there is to this side. You put that in there. You put the shaft in there to hold the level wind. And okay, once you have the all the level wind gear and stuff in there, and everything's lubed real good. You'll drop the spool in there. I put a little bit of grease on there. There's a little bit of grease down there. I put some synthetic oil on above the bearing. It's got a little felt pad that absorbs and kind of stores the oil. It looks like it. So we're going to go ahead and slide this in here. We're going to go ahead and slide this on here. Gotta make sure that shaft doesn't pop out or the cover won't fit down. Something is not fitting in there. Ah, that little shaft I was talking about sticking up. There it goes. The shaft for the level wind, if it's sticking up just a little bit, it won't. The cover won't fit flat. You have to hold it up with your hand here. You can't let it sit down or the shaft hits the table. I'm pretty much done cleaning reels for this winter. I'm going to put these 4 PENN Squall 20 level winds back on their rods. I'm going to take them out there in the cold and cast them and see if I can find the one that was making noise and see if it still is making noise. I didn't find anything wrong with any of them. So once you get to this area on this side, you can put a little grease on these 4 pads, because there will be a piece rubbing on here. Doesn't need very much. This piece here is going to ride on top of there. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and put this. I've already greased this. I took this apart, put some grease inside this bushing here. Got my fat fingers. I built racing engines and retired electrician. Got enough cuts on smashed fingers that okay. This has a second anti-reverse, and this one here, it can fit on here backwards, but this is the correct way to put it on here. That's the correct way to install it. So it will go that way, but it won't go backwards. You also have the anti-reverse on the handle. Okay. This gear here is stainless steel, while the other gear is bronze. I did put a little bit of grease on them, so they're good to go. That's going to fit over here. Got 2 springs, one on each side. this washer here is not a carbon fiber. I'm not sure what material it is, but it's got some of the cow's grease on there. I think I'm going to go ahead and put a little regular grease on there. This washer here has got to go next. This is what the that rides on. Then you have your carbon. These have cowls on them, lightly. They were dry when I took them apart. Just like any other reel, they alternate. And you have the top one. Real simple. Now this plate here has the anti-reverse, and it also has the lever which changes, freewheels it. Everything was pretty clean on this one here. Now one thing that doesn't show up on the exploded view of the model 20LW is this washer here doesn't show up on the expanded view from the factory on the paper, and this does fit right on top of that the spacer that goes into the anti-reverse. But that's everything that goes in here. Everything's lubed. I put more the grease on the anti-reverse, so this is ready to go back on. It's got to fit down in there. There. I think it's a balmy like 8 degrees outside today. Then you have to flip it over to put the other two in the back side. I think all the lakes up here in Ohio are froze over right now. It's been around 0 at night. Okay. I'll use a little bit bigger screwdriver for the bigger screw. Now this, I've got some grease on here, so it's got some fresh grease down in the anti-reverse. This piece here doesn't show up on the spreadsheet there. Actually the anti-reverse doesn't show up either, but I guess you have to buy the whole thing as the input piece. It doesn't press in and press out. So this sits on here. Then you have your two cupped washers facing apart. This washer here is missing on one of the reels, so I'm gonna have to make one, I think. I don't think that's what was making it make noise though, because it works without it. Got a little bit of oil down in there, a little bit of oil. Dab a little bit of oil in there. Anything metal to metal touches, it's always good to have a little bit of grease on it. Okay, just like the other reels, this one has the little washer here. Oh, one thing that's I didn't put on there, which is almost invisible. This was actually missing on one of the reels too. It's just a little nylon washer that fits on top of that. And this goes in on top of that. One of those was missing too. And you have your little wrench from PENN. That's really all there is to it. Putting one back together, they're not real complicated. Say one of them was making noise when you'd cast it. When it would free spool, you'd pitch it out and it would like the clicker was clicking on it, but it's not. Okay, just a little bit of oil down in here. And probably a little bit on the handle. All right, there is a PENN Squall Model 20LW. Not much to it. All right, thank you for watching.